Hi, I'm Toni Anderson, and I'm here in the green room with Deborah Bell, who's here with Apologia this weekend at the Teach Them Diligently conference in Spartanburg, South Carolina. You can probably hear some talking in the background. What's really cool about this conference is that even if you can't be in a session, they have monitors and screens outside the room so that people who maybe have a fussy baby or some small children with them are able to hear it while they're here. So that's a neat feature, and so that's what you'll hear in the background if you hear a little talking. We tried to get away out of the exhibit hall because it was busy and loud, and so we're here and we're just going to talk about homeschool conventions. This is your 8,000th convention or so?
Maybe. I've spoken my first convention in 1988.
So probably close to that.
Yes, and you know what, Tony? There were two vendors at
Becca and
no. In fact, I was trying to explain to somebody at the conference that one of the curriculums was mimeographed, and I had to explain what mimeographing was. So, homeschoolers today have such wonderful choices. It's so amazing.
So you've been doing this for over 20 years.
Yes, we don't have to emphasize that.
You've been doing it for a little while, and you've been doing this for a long time. So, are you still as excited today as you were, in 1988 when you first, went to your first one?
What I'm excited about, Tony, is just the growth and the innovation and the change. Yes, I personally find this conference, Teach Them Diligently, just invigorating because it's such a well-done conference. And there's so many people here, and there's so many vendors here who have created product that's just specifically for homeschooling. We didn't have that. We had to modify and adapt a curriculum that was designed for conventional settings. So, and then just all the social media that Teach Them Diligently has used to get the word out. I mean, there's like 7,000 people here. There's articles in the newspaper about how this is just kind of shutting down Spartanburg. It's really a boost to their economy. I love the traffic jams. I love seeing that there's cops, that they have police. I just thought, oh my word, we are a movement. We are stopping traffic now just because so many people are coming to these conventions.
Right, hotels were sold out all throughout the area, so it's a big deal.
Yeah, so I think that's what keeps me energized, is to see God blessing the movement, to see it growing, to now be talking more and more to homeschool graduates who are now homeschooling, like second generation homeschoolers. So I think that is why I'm very grateful to still be involved.
And you've graduated all 4 of your kids. They've all actually graduated from college too, and are all married, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, if you're a new mom, this is your first convention, if you're going to be in Nashville in a couple weeks, what would you say to the mom? Maybe she has a 4 and 5-year-old, or, this is her first event. How would you help them navigate?
Well, first of all, I would just say there's a learning curve, and that homeschooling is a way of life, and give yourself 2 or 3 years to really learn how to do this and how it's going to work with your family. But ultimately, we can relax because it's about God's faithfulness. I mean, yes, my kids are all grown and doing well. They're all believers. And that is a testimony to God's faithfulness, and not a testimony to my capabilities or my strengths. Despite my weaknesses, God showed up. And I'd like new families to know that this is really going to be an opportunity for you to see God move miraculously in your families. I think you have similar testimony of just God meeting you, because homeschooling's not a convenient choice, is it?
Right. No. No, it's hard. What is it? Heidi St. John says, if people tell you homeschooling's not hard, run the other way.
Yes, they're not credible.
Yes. So you spoke this weekend, and you are speaking again in Nashville and in Omaha?
Yes.
So what are you going to talk about?
What I'm talking about, I'm really excited that they're having me touch on what I'm passionate about, is how children learn in God's design. As you know, because you helped me, I went back to school after I was done homeschooling and completed a PhD in educational psychology, and your followers on your blog helped participate in that study that I did to finish my dissertation. But I'm passionate about helping parents see God's hardwired our kids to learn, and the home is the most natural place that supports student learning. So I want to liberate them from the idea that conventional setting and conventional methods and conventional materials is really how they ought to be educating their kids. So I'm talking about motivation, interest, homeschooling teens, raising an independent learner. Those are the topics that I'll be touching on in the upcoming conferences.
And go to her talks. I would drive to Nashville to hear you from Maryland. You are so encouraging. You are so real. I love that you can use real life examples of your family, and that, you know, it feels like I'm talking to a friend when I hear you up there, and, you know, you're sharing that wisdom that you've had, you know, going through it all, and having different kids with different personalities and different learning styles, and, you know, you just bring such a reality to homeschooling. And so go to Deb's talks for sure. You're one of my favorite speakers, definitely. And then the other great part about any homeschool convention, but Teach Them Diligently, the vendor hall is amazing. And this is why, can I show these? You get to touch stuff, which I think is awesome. And can you share a little bit about what you have? Because this is amazing.
Well, yes, I feel like I'm so blessed that Apologia came and found me after I didn't know what to do with myself after I was done homeschooling, and they came and found me, and they are allowing me to, you know, create product based upon our homeschooling life. So the Ultimate Homeschool Planner is part of a planning system. There's planners for the student and for the teens, and I use this system. I didn't have these pretty products.
Beautiful cover.
But I had used the system to help raise an independent learner, for my kids to learn how to steward and manage their time, and how I could make sure, because I was tracking it in my planner, that we are making God's priorities our priorities in the home. So Apologia has done that for me. The Ultimate Guide to Homeschooling Teens is for high school, and then the Ultimate Guide to
Read this before you get there.
I hope
Don't
so.
wait till you have
Yes.
a ninth grader.
That's the ideal. That's the ideal. And then the Ultimate Guide to Homeschooling. I mean, I wrote this the first time in 1997. And I've rewritten it 5 times now. This, I can assure you that it's up to date, because I had some younger active homeschool moms like your age help me update the material so that it's still relevant for what is really just a new breed of
Right.
homeschool. Your generation, they are empowered. I'm just so impressed with how ready these parents believe they are to take responsibility for their children's education. I know that they find it intimidating and daunting, and they are sobered by the responsibility. But your generation has just really been innovators, and they've been really ready to think outside the box. And I do think the rise of the internet and social media is an opportunity for networking and sharing. That has all been part of facilitating the real expansion of homeschooling. It's really mushrooming, and so I think conferences are a great place to come, though, and meet people like in the flesh.
Yep, absolutely.
And also to touch and feel and compare.
Yep, and that's what's nice too. And I know, especially in the Apologia booth, and you know, you're there. You know, you speak, and then you're there at the booth. And if people have questions about the products, you can ask the author. I mean, a lot of times the author of the product, you know, Rachel's at the booth, other booths, you know,
Yes, Heidi St. John's
Yes.
here, Sally Clarkson's here. I mean, okay, just for me, why I like doing it is like, these are people. There's such a spirit of camaraderie among vendors and speakers, and because we're all passionate about homeschooling and we feel this is a ministry, it's just neat to be able to show up and see Heidi and see Sally and see Rachel, see you. I mean, it's great to have this opportunity.
like a reunion.
Yeah, and it's really just stimulating for me. I love talking to people who are using my product. I really want to create product that is grace-filled and that is helpful, and so I'm looking for feedback, you know?
Right.
And if there's any feedback where we can tweak or improve, I know Apologia, I'm very impressed with how responsive they are to their customers. They care about serving homeschool families with excellence, and so for us, it's all about touching our customers and making sure we're meeting their needs as well as we can.
And that's an opportunity I think that the homeschool parents have. I ended up yesterday talking with a man from A Plus Math. I probably get A Plus Tutor Soft. I think that's the name of it. Talked to him for about an hour, but really just got to discuss why he created the curriculum, what it did. You know, you get a much bigger experience when you're able to talk to the creator or someone who's very passionate about the product. Maybe they aren't the owner, but they work for the company, and really talking about your own children. And I've had companies say this is not going to be a good fit for your child, and that's what I love, is being able to actually have those conversations with the vendors. You know, especially if you're a new homeschooler and you haven't used every curriculum out there yet. You'll do it, you will.
Yes.
You know, that's what I like, is that, you know, you just get this honest feedback from people that really are passionate about math or science, and maybe you're terrible at math, but, you know, having those conversations is very beneficial.
Yes, and they can demystify and empower you. And I think the other advantage in this conference in particular is just the lineup of sessions and speakers.
Yes.
There are so many speakers and topics, and so I feel that this is the best place for parents to come and get an education, get exposed to a lot of different philosophies and ideas, get equipped, get trained. What I'm really encouraged about is how many dads are here.
Yes.
I think Teach Them Diligently has really made the Christian family their priority, and they have had a men's breakfast. They have speakers that appeal to dads. They have a lot of things going on for the kids. What about the
Apologia did the teen track?
Yes,
Yeah.
we had our first flash mob,
Yeah.
I think, at a homeschool
Yeah,
conference.
I think that's the first one ever.
Yeah, so we were here
Yep.
for it. It have actually culminated in the Apologia booth, so I felt very young to be caught up in it.
So yeah, and that's what I noticed too about the difference in Teach Them Diligently and some of the other conventions that I've been to, is that there is definitely this family atmosphere where I've seen families with their children. They have a giant playground set up over, you know, on that one side, and there just seems to be a lot of options for the kids. And you know, I've had kids in sessions, even the monitors outside for families that can't stay in the session, they have to take the baby out. It's just very, very much a family-focused event. Yeah. So, well, I just want to thank you. It's been awesome to see you again. I try to see as much as I can throughout the year.
Well, I'm glad if you're going to stalk somebody.
Yes.
I'm glad you chose me, Toni.
And you will be in Nashville and in Omaha.
Yes, yes.
And so all of our friends out there that are going to attend or haven't registered yet, you can still register for both of those conferences, and they can see you, stop by the Apologia booth and say hello. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the next two events.